So please welcome Dr. John Gray.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I'll set up here for a moment. I put my timer on. How many of you have read Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus? Great. Thanks for coming back. How many have not read that book? There's some introductory information and some advanced information. I've been teaching it for over 45 years. My best-selling book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, came out in 1991. So that's a long time ago. And I keep teaching these ideas. I was just in Saudi Arabia in 45 different languages. My books. And I was just in Saudi Arabia, and the people at the bookstore came and said, "Your book has been number 1 or number 2 for over 30 years in Saudi Arabia." Who would think? And why there? Because they're an emerging culture where women are moving into the workplace. And I began teaching these ideas around 1980, and that was right after the feminist outburst where women were moving more into the workplace. Now there's a simple equation here, is that the more independent women are, the more divorce there is. It's a simple equation as you look at it. Because as soon as women become independent, they change the whole relationship between men and women. For thousands of years, women have depended on men for certain things. They were very significant to them. And suddenly, when you're making money on your own, and you're highly educated, what happens is, you don't need men. It's real simple. And it's a disaster. Now when I say that, our culture is a disaster today. Stress levels are off the chart. Twice as many people are not getting married. Divorce is off the chart. All started in 1969, this massive increase of divorce. That was feminism. And I'm not against feminism. It's just that women moved into the independent world. I think it's a step of evolution. But as women became more independent, it feels very good to be powerful. Not depending on a man, because if you didn't luck out, you didn't marry John Gray, you might have some problems there. But the irony is that I grew up in Houston, Texas. My father had no relationship skills. None. As many men today don't have relationship skills. He was a hard worker. He made money. He went to work every day. He didn't complain. He came home and was tired. But he provided a nice environment, a home, a middle-class neighborhood. And my mother's dream was to have 7 children. She had 6 boys. I never saw my mother unhappy. I never saw my parents fighting. They didn't have anything to fight about. Because he did his job, as all women expected. What's a man's job? Go do jobs that are dirty, dangerous, difficult. Come home, don't complain, and that's it. He was also at home. He was the policeman. So she had 6 boys, and the way she controlled us, the boys could be out of control. She just said, "I'll tell your father." So, Dad was the policeman. Dad was the enforcer. That's all she needed. She had a policeman. She had a provider. She had a home. She had no want. She was a happy woman. And because she was a happy woman, my father was a happy man. He had no complaints either. You know what, as a marriage counselor for over 40 years, do you know what men say when they want to divorce their wives? And they'll say the same thing even when she wants a divorce. But what do men say when they want a divorce? Almost the very same thing. And it's the opposite of what women say. When women want a divorce, they'll say, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do this. He doesn't give me basically what I need. And I give, and I give, and I give, and I don't give back. Whatever happened to that idea that giving makes you happy? And all the loved ones say, give. What is intuitive understanding of other women? Men have an intuitive understanding of it because we all think alike. So similar, it's unbelievable. So when I listen to women's complaints over the years, I can really begin to hear women in a new way. Because every woman who came to counseling had the same complaints as all the other women, and including my wife. So it's like, they're all from another planet. Men have none of those complaints. So what were the men's complaints? Women's were, I give and give, I don't get back. So logically speaking, women, what's the answer? Stop giving so much. You create your own misery by giving more than you receive. And what was the complaint men had? No matter what I do, she's never happy. And why isn't she happy? Because you're probably doing everything your father did. You can blame feminism. Don't blame yourself. She's not happy. It's not about you. It's about she does not know how to be happy. You can help her, but women are just not happy. They're filled with complaints. Complain. At least every woman that came to me for counseling. And if men did complain, what did men complain about? She complains. It's really simple. Stop complaining. Why do you complain? Because you're not getting what you want. So you say to your husband, you didn't call me, you should call me. You left your socks on the floor. How many times are you going to leave the socks on the floor? You never listened to me. You were supposed to do this and you didn't do it. How many times do I have to ask you to empty the trash? It's all this complaining. Who wants to come home to that? Why doesn't a man want to be with you? Why is he not happy in the relationship? All he does all day long is sacrifice what he wants to do to a great extent to make money. He doesn't need somebody complaining to him when he comes home. And it doesn't work. It just shuts him down. But what do? When they're perplexed. How do I get him to change? He should change. Well, why did you get together in the first place? To learn how to love. We're talking all about love today. We're talking about happiness today. We're talking about health today. If you're not happy, you're not healthy. If you're not happy, you're partially crazy. I give a talk twice a week, 2-hour talk twice a week. Each talk is different. I've written 28 books. And I just wrote 6 books last year. Nobody can imagine how much information there's missing when it comes to relationships. You can't even imagine. I can't imagine. I learned something today just listening to the speaker before me. If I'm going to share that, that's going to be the whole theme. I'm always learning stuff. Once you figure things out, it becomes simple. Men are so simple with it. You just don't understand it. How many men would agree you're just pretty simple guys? Raise your hands. Just let us be. how many women would agree that you're highly complicated? Yeah, you're highly complicated. That's Mars, Venus. And now we'll take a bigger leap. How many women sometimes get emotional and know that you're not being logical later on? Raise your hands. Be proud of it. That's called being a woman. Is you're not logical sometimes. You can be logical, but sometimes you're just not logical. You're emotional. And whenever you have positive emotions, you're emotional and you're logical. Whenever you have negative emotions, you're emotional and not logical. So when you're upset and you're having not positive emotions, if you said to a man, right now I'm not logical, just don't say anything and listen to what I say, and then I'll become logical and everything will be fine. How many men would love to have her say that? Because when you combine negative emotions with logic, and you say, I'm so upset and it's because of you, that's not logical. If you're upset, who's upset? You. That's you. At another time, you're not feeling that way. This is you. You're in charge of your life. When we're like children, we're not. The reason so many problems come up in marriage is because in marriage we're like children. Because we love our partners. We love them so much. As a matter of fact, when we fall in love, we say, oh, sweetheart, oh, honey, I love you, I love you. I can't live without you. How old are you at that time? That's your children. I've got a little 3-year-old granddaughter. She comes up to me. She calls me Gaga. Gaga, I love you so much. Are you coming for dinner tonight? Yes, I'm coming for dinner tonight. Will you read a story to me? Yes. Are we sitting together on the couch? Yes. See, she's just developing her identity. She's one with the divine. She's pure love. And something magical happens when we fall in love. We get to revisit the innocence of our childhood. Our hearts, we get to find it before we became jaded, before we became shut down in a world that said, you're not good enough. A world that said, if you make mistakes, you should be punished. Because people didn't have communication skills. The only way you could control children with threat. I'll tell your father. The policeman will come and get you. I wrote a whole book for parents on how to raise your children without danger. Just communication skills. This is advanced. Throughout thousands of years, people have always used the whip to control people like Ray Allen. You don't need to do that when you have advanced communication skills. But we have to learn them. And we have to also learn as adults in this new world we've created where women are doctors and scientists and firewomen. Like firemen. Although you don't see many firewomen actually going into the buildings, do you? No, women are smarter than that. But you see, the thing about a man says, what is the whole thing that we all say as men and women, particularly men say it, happy wife, happy life. Unhappy wife, not such a happy life. And that is the one thing men will say to me when they want to leave their wives. They say, look, I love her, she's a good person, it's just, she's never happy. No matter what I do, it's never enough to make her happy. And you know what I say to men? I say, that's because you don't know what to do in relationships. You think we're living in the 50s, where you have a good job and a woman's going to be happy. Women today are stressed out of their minds. You've gotten so used to it, and the younger women, you don't even know what it was like to be happy. You know? I was just listening to someone, they said they saw pictures of families in their 50s. These pictures of people in their 50s, when I grow up, it was not all this. We would just, mom would say, go play. When you go outside, you'd be in nature all day. She'd ring the bell, you'd come home for lunch. Dinner would be on the table. She had plenty of time to make dinner. How many women sometimes feel you don't have enough time? Raise your hands. Raise them high. I don't have enough time. And of course, that's a feeling. It's totally illogical because there's always been 24 hours in the day. But it makes sense on that level. You're busy. And you're busy because of choices you make. And you think you have to make those choices because you're a little crazy. You don't have to. We're all a little crazy in this world, particularly women. A little crazy. If we look at stress tests. See, what is a cortisol hormone, by the way? We all been talking about cortisol and health. Like we just talked about breathing, exercise, and so many tools to help lower stress. They're just off the chart, all these lower stress. And I approve of them all. I'm a big meditator. I do moderate exercise, I meditate, I do breath work. I don't eat carbohydrates hardly at all. Do you know that anybody who has mood swings will dramatically become less? You just take carbohydrates out of your diet for 3 weeks. Just give your brain a rest. Well, we're addicted to carbohydrates, sweets, sugar, treats. Literally, anybody, and your children, ADD, take carbohydrates out of their diet for 3 weeks. They will not be ADD. Oh, we could also have to. Oh, look what's behind me. Of course. My sister did that. Excellent. This should not be allowed in the home. This is the major cause of stress for all of us today. There's already enough stress with women being stressed out because they're out of whack. And then you look at this guy. This is moderate cocaine. You look at the brain scans and the hormone production and what gets occurred. And people look at this for like 20 minutes. You think of giving your child this for hours to play on their video games or whatever. You're giving them brain damage. Of course, it's a babysitter. You need a babysitter because you don't have time. Because you're busy making money. You're busy trying to organize your life because you don't have enough time. You need a babysitter. It used to be grandma would be the babysitter. I'm the babysitter for my grandkids. The other grandparents, we all take turns. We don't have that anymore. So what do you do when you need a babysitter? You give this to your child and they have brain damage. We've seen it. You know, for the first 7 years of life, the brain stops developing. You start losing massive amounts of white. In the brain, there's gray matter and there's white matter, and the white matter is the connected matter, connected tissue in the brain, so you're balanced. Different parts of the brain can work together. They measured it in brain scans with little children, and you let them just watch this 30 minutes, and their brain, the white brain matter goes away. It doesn't grow. We're shaving their brains. Intelligence has gone down. Since we introduced the Apple computer into schools, intelligence has dramatically gone down. This wipes your brain out because it does it for you. You know what happens? If I'm just sitting around all day and I don't do stuff with my body, my muscles will shrink. If people are doing stuff for you all the time, and you don't use your powers, your abilities, you don't think for yourself, your brain doesn't develop. It atrophies. And the symptom of that is boredom. And the more bored you are, the more unmotivated you are, the more you depend upon this to produce dopamine. And you're all familiar with dopamine. Please raise your hands if you're familiar with that term. Somebody wrote a wonderful book, Dopamine Nation, which helps a lot of people understand. We're all addicted to dopamine. What happens with dopamine is that when you have high stimulation, afterwards you become very bored. I'm excited, you're excited, you're sitting, oh, John just said something new, or challenging. But you break, oh, what's that? New and different, new and different. That's why romance is so fantastic in the beginning of a relationship. It can be that way forever if you learn how to do it. It is possible, and women are the field of all possibilities. They can look at a man and know how he can be better. They feel anything can be better. And you're plagued by this brain that knows how things can be better. And if you don't feel loved and supported and centered, then you'll feel happy because things aren't becoming better. But whenever you're unhappy with your husband, he can't become better. He can't. And whenever you give more to him than he gives to you, he can't give you more. I'm just saying those things without a lot of backup. I've read the whole book to back it all up. But just look at the logic of this. If you give more than somebody's giving to you, what do you end up with? Less. But if you live on Venus, and you give more to a girlfriend, all the women over there, if two women give to each other, let's say I'm a woman and I give to you, then you feel guilty if you don't give back to me. How many women can relate to that? So if you give, you have to give back. Otherwise, you're not my friend anymore. They have strict rules about this on Venus. On Mars, if I'm sitting on the couch at the end of the day, it's nice to relax. Feel like you sitting there. I worked hard. I'm on vacation now. I'm resting my muscles. I'm relaxing. And you serve me tea, you say, oh honey, thank you, I love you so much, you're so great. I think, okay, I don't have to do more. You make me dinner, you make a beautiful home for me, you handle all these things. She's come to me and said, what more can I do for you, honey? I said, you do enough, it's enough. What message do I get? I get that you're giving to me, it must be because I worked hard for you already. You're giving to me, so it must mean that I'm doing enough. If I go to a job and they pay me, I feel like, okay, I did a good job. I come home and I sit here, and you're giving to me, and I think, oh, I'm doing a good job. Now that worked for my parents, but now we get into a world where women are unhappy. So when women are unhappy, what they think, because they don't understand men, they think, I'll give him something more. And because on my planet, if you give more, you get more. Right? Give more, get more. But on his planet, if you give him more, he goes, okay, I can rest now. I'm on vacation. See, women have a 30-day cycle of emotions and hormones that is always changing. Men have a 24-hour cycle. That's it. Testosterone goes up. At the end of the day, testosterone goes down. And we need to rest. We need to recover. We need to relax. And women don't understand that at all, because you live in a world where you can't turn it off. I remember sitting at home after I used to counsel 8 women a day. That means listen to women complain about men for 8 hours a day. I'd be exhausted. I'd be exhausted. Literally, like I had magnets on my butt. Could not get up. And I thought it was so funny because I'd say to my wife, honey, she'd be overwhelmed with kids and the house and all this stuff. She'd be feeling overwhelmed. I said, honey, just relax. Sit down next to me. She goes, I can't sit down. I have too much to do. I have too much to do. How many women can relate to that? Too much to do, can't relax. Too much to do, can't relax. Too much to do, can't stop. Too much to do, can't turn it off. That's your brain, different from a man's. And I say to you, just as she can't sit down and relax on the couch, I can't get up from the couch. That's the difference. That's what stress does. Now what I need, now let's look at healthy. Healthy is I come on home, I sit down and go to my couch. For me personally, sometimes I'll meditate, sometimes I'll just take a little nap, sometimes I'll watch the news. I just need time to recover. And they give a picture of my life and it's healthy. My wife goes, oh, he's recovering from the dead. That's his cave. So those who read the book, Men from Mars, know that's called his cave. The man cave thing you hear all about, that came from Men from Mars 40 years ago. He needs his man cave. No women allowed. No feelings allowed. You can't go to a man's man cave and say, honey, how are you feeling? What are you feeling? What's going on? Tell me about your day. How was your day? What's he going to say to you? Fine. Good. All right. I was hearing somebody online saying when a man says, how are you feeling? And he says, what are you feeling? He'll say nothing. Oh, he's a narcissist. He's not a narcissist, he's a man. He's not feeling anything. Don't you get it? We cannot feel anything. You can't. You're feeling stuff all the time, or at least your head's busy thinking about stuff. He can turn off his brain. Harvard did a study to even prove this. Did you put the EEG thing on the brain? You say to a woman, sit down, relax. Her brain speeds up. You say to the man, sit down, relax. Don't do breathing, don't do anything. Just relax. EEG stops. His brain just turns on. If I don't have to do anything, I'll relax, particularly at the end of the day. I did my job, now I'm on vacation. But there's something that can pull him out of the cave, and that's called having children and a wife. I remember when my kids were little, I would be so tired, I'd come home, and I'd be resting, and my kids would come on, Daddy, let's play, let's play, let's play. And Bonnie would say, don't bother your father, don't bother your father. I said, no, it's okay, because if they keep asking me, I'll get energy. She didn't understand that. She didn't want the kids pulling on her all the time, it drains her. But for me, I understood it. If you just ask me 3 or 4 times, with all that, come on, Daddy, let's play. Come on, Daddy, let's play. Okay. And now I'm playing with my kids. I get energy. Men get energy when they're solving problems. Women lose energy solving problems unless someone's solving problems for her. You see, there was a beautiful balance between men and women, where men would provide for women so women could give it all to their children. So you're designed to give it all. But you can't give it all unless somebody's giving you what you need. And today it's really hard for women to understand what they need, because you're so independent. I ask most single women, I would test them right away. If they're single, it means they don't understand men, and they're making all the mistakes. All the mistakes. I just see how they're pushing men away, pushing men away. And when they're not happy in a marriage, they're pushing men away. Men are so easy. Make a man a hero, he will die for you. Make a man your hero, he will die for you. Make a man a hero, he will die. He will do whatever it takes for you. Don't make him your hero, he will die because of you. I see it every day. I see men just crashing because their wives are not happy wives. And now let's look at reality. No woman could ever be happy all the time. The women are designed never to be happy all the time. It's a never and always. They're like this. They're like waves. They go up and they're happy, and then suddenly this woman who seemed to be completely content and happy in her life has 10 complaints. The wave will crash. What you have to understand then is that this is their nature. Women are like waves. They go up, and then they will feel they're not getting enough. And they will crash down. Their mood will drop. And you're over here telling her, don't feel that way, don't feel that way. But you understand a sine wave, if you stop it, it will just keep trying to go down. It's a wave. You're trying to push it back. Don't be upset. Don't be unhappy. Instead, as a man, I have to understand, women would never be happy all the time, or happy all the time with me. But I have to know it will pass. In Texas, we had tornadoes. A tornado comes, you just find a ditch, you lie low. It will pass. That doesn't really work in a relationship, but it's a good idea. It will pass. All a woman has to do when she is stressed, the wave is crashing down, she'll find reasons to be stressed. Otherwise, she'll feel crazy. And she has a pretty good life. The only reason there could be is you. If there's a lot of problems, then you're not the bad guy. But if there's not that many problems, they'll look at you. She's got to find problems. Unless she can look at herself, which is part of enlightenment, part of the awakening. What I started out with. If you're not happy, it's because of you. Now certainly you can find reasons. My husband's an alcoholic, he's addicted, he's doing porn all the time, where he sits on the couch, he never talks to me. Yeah, those are all good reasons for you to feel unhappy. But his job is not to make you happy. That's the title of this book. Be happy with or without a man. When you learn how to be happy without a man, then you can be happier with a man. My job, and this is what saves me when my wife's not happy. It's so funny. I was out with my wife last night, and we were in a social, before going out, she was saying, I'm feeling depressed. Now, I made love with her a few days ago. She was particularly happy. And suddenly she was depressed. I said, well, let's go out to dinner. And then we had a conversation with other people, whatever. This morning we woke up, she's smiling. I said, oh, you're not depressed anymore. No, I feel so good. See, the wave just crashed. That's all. It's always going to go up and down. But part of why her wave could come back up is I did not resist her unhappiness. She says, I'm feeling depressed. Let me give you a hug, honey. I love you so much. That's it. I'm not going to try to explain to her why she's got the best husband in the world. Her life is fantastic. No. Because women can't be happy all the time. They go in waves. Their brain, it just shifts like this. And what I learned to do is, for men, don't get upset when she's unhappy. See, all these men are unhappy because their wife is unhappy. Why is she unhappy all the time? Because you're unhappy that she's unhappy. I hope that's not too many happies there, but this was in my book, Men Are From Mars. I also, everything here I do in this book is I take Men Are From Mars ideas, I update them, and I give you the science behind them. It's so amazing. I'm going to do science in a few minutes. I'm holding this phone as a clock. That's what I'm reminding myself. So this was a great lesson for me as a man. I see some husbands here. My wife's unhappy. If you reflect, why am I upset with her when she's unhappy? Because I feel blamed. Why is she blaming me? Because she's temporarily unhappy and she doesn't know she's the cause of her unhappiness. She thinks it's me and she's looking for a reason to justify it. So I listen to her as being temporarily crazy. And I'll tell you what makes it easier for men to look at you as though you're temporarily crazy is if you tell him from time to time, I'm upset and I know I'm temporarily crazy. I just need you to listen to me talk for a while. Then he can sit back and listen. He doesn't have to explain to you that you're being crazy. He can just listen. And why would listening help? One man I said, he said, what's the real secret of your message, John? You can sum it up in one sentence. It's the man I'm talking to. I say, when your wife talks, just listen. Don't correct her. Don't solve her problem. Don't interrupt her. Don't make her wrong. Don't defend yourself. Don't argue with her. Don't do anything. Is that hard? Well, it is hard. If you don't understand what I'm saying, yes, it is hard. It's like you're a punching bag. One of my books, Advanced Relationship Skills, what was that one called? Anyway, I talked all about martial arts. I like to study martial arts. When a woman's talking and she's upset, she's blaming you. But men can't do that because we buy into the thought that our job is to make her happy. And why do we do that? Because when she's happy, we take credit for it. Makes me really happy. Happy wife, happy life. unhappy life, it's her fault. I'm not going to take responsibility for it. I'm going to realize that if she's emotionally upset, it's temporary grief. And then if I don't react to her, she has a chance to do something miraculous. They're moving the box of books. Evidently, I'm going to sign books somewhere over there when I film my talk. And the books are $30. It's cost of hardbacks. The first box of books I've received, this is a new baby. You're getting the first one, first edition. And if you want me to sign it, all monies go to this wonderful charity. It's also my donation of the books. You buy the books for $30, it goes to the charity. If you pay $50, I'll sign your book. Not going to me, going to them. You get extra bonus. I sign my name, a little heart on it. Very sweet. So getting back to my talk. To summarize 28 books in one moment here. So I'm talking to this guy. What's the bottom line? Listen, just listen, don't react, don't react. Take it in as best you can. What's wise about, there's always some logic in there. There's some need being necessary. And he said, well, what if I don't want to ever listen to my wife at all? Why do I have to listen? I said, you have to. And if you don't, she's not going to be happy with you. And you want her to be happy with you, right? He said, well, I don't want to listen. He said, then you're going to have an unhappy life. Unhappy life, unhappy wife. But then you go a step further. Why does he want to listen to his wife? Because he's bored. He doesn't see the value in it. What's the point of just talking about your feelings? Because he doesn't understand there's a value to it. What is the value to it in talking? And now I'm going to get into the science. It turns out that it's really nice to get quiet for a moment. Like that. So this is amazing new science. Most of you think that when a man is angry, for example, he has high testosterone. Right? Who's heard that? Anger. You haven't heard that? Is masculine testosterone. Well, first let's look at hormones. This is standard science. When a man is happy, like right now, happy guy, caring guy, compassionate guy, fun guy, my testosterone is, well, it happens to be right now 20 times higher than any woman in this room. But just normally speaking, any man, when he's not stressed, any man in this room right now will have 10 times, at least 10 times more testosterone than any woman in the room. And if a man is experiencing stress hormones, and we talked all about cortisol, all these wonderful techniques to increase the lower cortisol. For a man, anytime he has cortisol in his body, his testosterone is going down. Simple biology. What raises testosterone in a man? When I think I'm successful. Right now I think I'm successful. I'm needed. I'm fulfilling a purpose. My life has purpose, which means I'm helping someone. That's a simple message of all masculinity is help somebody. You're helping somebody and they're appreciating what your help is because you're helping them. Testosterone goes up. Stress goes down. Very basic. This is pure, science proven. A woman is helping someone. Her testosterone goes up. It doesn't lower her stress. Testosterone goes way up, like mine right now, she'd be more stressed. Testosterone doesn't lower a woman's stress. Testosterone is produced when you're solving problems. Remember I mentioned women can't turn their brains off, they're stressed. What are they doing in their mind? Solving problems. I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. Solving problems does not lower a woman's stress. Now, it's not necessarily the cause of her stress, but it doesn't lower her stress. For men, anytime I'm solving a problem, it will lower stress. That's why if a woman's a little unhappy, I want to help her. So the help I give her is just not what she needs. Those men who say, I do this and this and this, my wife's never happy. I say, well, what are you doing? Besides, I say it's not your job to make her happy. But you can certainly not make her feel worse. And you can certainly do things to help her to help her be happy. And what you're doing just isn't working because nobody ever told you what to do. You're talking. If a woman is upset, never talk. This is revolutionary. Never talk if a woman's upset. Every psychologist, almost every, will say, oh, when your husband not talking, what do? You go, oh, honey, what are you feeling? Let's talk about it. Are you upset about anything? Did I bother you? And you might say, well, it was a bit annoying when you criticized me the other day, or just now. And she says, well, I was only doing this. And he says, okay, she'll have to defend herself. See, men know, that's why they don't want to talk to you quite often, when they don't need to talk. But they also know when they're quiet and you get them to talk, it turns into an argument. It always turns into an argument. He says, well, why did you say that to me? Well, why can't I say that to you? She'll get into a whole defensive reaction and everything's out of a big argument. When a man is quiet, he doesn't need to talk. And everybody's saying, oh, men need to talk about their feelings. No, they don't. We've forgotten what it is to be masculine. You have to suck it up. You know, anytime I'm upset, I don't recommend you doing this for your husband because he doesn't understand this yet. Anytime something bothers me or gets upset, my wife sees, and I start to complain about something, she says, John, just suck it up. That's it. That's our code phrase. Suck it up. Say, I don't complain. You don't do this with little boys. You know, this is not how you treat little boys because their estrogen levels are like little girls. So the difference between men is testosterone. For girls, it's women. It's women need to make, on average, 10 times more estrogen than a man. And anytime a woman is stressed, she either has dramatically low estrogen or after ovulation, she has low progesterone. This is simple stuff. Anytime a woman is stressed, you have to test, are you after ovulation, before ovulation? If it's before ovulation, your estrogen levels are too low, according to the standards, because we know that when a woman is happy, she generally has at least, towards ovulation, she has at least 10 times more estrogen than a man. And if she's going 5 days before ovulation, she needs to be making 20 times more estrogen than a man. That's when the wave crashes. Because what does estrogen tell her brain? Estrogen is saying to her brain, I need help. What is that woman who's overwhelmed? What is she saying? I have to do this, I have to do this, and I have no help. What is it that women need more than anything today? Is the awareness that what they need on a meta level is I need help. Now, practically speaking, when you need help, let's say you've got 15 things or 20 things that you still have to do when you get home from work. I can do them all. I'm being a woman for a moment. Well, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. How can I ask you to help me because I can easily do this? And how can I ask you to help me because I can easily do this? So she doesn't feel I need help. But what does she actually need? I need help. I don't want to have to do it all myself. How many women have felt, I don't want to have to do it all myself? Yeah. And then he's sitting over there and you ask him for help. He says, well, you can do that. What do you need my help for? Well, I don't, see, it's paradoxical. It's hard to explain this. That was the insight I just got as another awareness of mine, which is I'm always learning about this stuff, right? So I'll write a whole chapter on this one I'm about to say. It's so hard because you feel, well, I can do this, so why do I need help? But I have 15 things to do, and I don't have enough time to do it, or energy to do it. So it's not like I need you to do this. I need help, so I don't have to do this. So there's so many tools in this book, and I only have so much time to talk. I want to give you an outline, which is, my wife died 8 years ago. I was devastated. It was the biggest source of stress in my life. I got a heart attack from it. It was horrible. I mean, she's the love of my life and everything. It can be one of the greatest stresses in a man's life, is the death of a wife. Divorce can also be very stressful, of course. But a death of lovely, the more bonded you are, the harder it is for some, put it that way. So I haven't written a book, but then I took time to heal, then took time to get married again, be happy in my marriage again. And at the beginning of last year, I said, okay, now I'm ready. I wrote 6 books for women only. Why for women only? Because all my other books are wonderful. But even women read those books, they still have all these questions. I love questions. So I have 6 books that I wrote answering all women's questions. And what I realized as I was doing this is that for 40 years I've had women mainly come to me in counseling without their husbands being there. And their relationships got better. And one of the big obstacles for women in marriage is to think that unless my husband changes, we can't have a good marriage. Well, those women never came into my office to learn this. Women will think, well, unless he reads this book, nothing will get better. Unless John teaches them these things, nothing will get better. And certainly when they learn to read my books, they do get better. That's good. But even without men even doing anything, when the women would follow my instructions and give them the insights that we're learning about men, their marriages got so much better. So these books are for women only. The secret strategies to get your man to do more for you. If you want a man to do more for you, you have to stop over-giving, and you have to learn this new skill, which is called being vulnerable, and asking for help. They go hand in hand. And what it turns out to be that when you're vulnerable and you ask for help, you see, my mother didn't have to learn that because life made her vulnerable. She raising 7 children, she had no time for a job until her kids grew up, and she created a career, and she did all that stuff. But she was there the whole time when I was growing up. And so when you, in a culture where women couldn't eat, well, she's just pregnant. Just being pregnant, you're vulnerable. You depend on someone to be there for you. So nature put women in a vulnerable situation, which would bring out the hero in a man. Whenever you don't need a man, he will not be motivated at all to do anything for you. In the beginning of a relationship, he's totally motivated only because the anticipation of sex, and it's new and different, and he feels that opens his heart to you. Newness stimulates dopamine. Dopamine motivates us. Within a few months even, or a few years, familiarity, routine kills dopamine. It's no longer new and different. When you're new and different, his dopamine goes up. That raises his testosterone. Dopamine says new and different is also to the brain dangerous. See? Because when something's new and different, you don't really understand it yet. So the brain interprets that as danger. Danger stimulates dopamine. New and different stimulates dopamine. So that motivates him. Once new and different goes away, and you have a lot of serotonin, which is comfort and ease and routine, his dopamine goes away. And if he was in the beginning, the dopamine gave him the motivation to raise his testosterone and be interested in you, and want to come close to you, and want to solve problems for you. Well, that automatic drug, it's like a free drug for a better relationship, is the newness. It will go away. And for women, that newness will stimulate estrogen. So, in the beginning, he's like, where can I take her, make her happy? And she's, on the other hand, he takes you somewhere, but he didn't make reservations, so you're standing 20 minutes to get a table. And you're thinking, well, it doesn't matter. We'll get to know each other and talk and share. Then 3 years later in marriage, why didn't you make the reservations? We're sitting here waiting for 20 minutes. Everything changes. And it all changes, particularly when my presence doesn't raise your estrogen. In the beginning, it was the dopamine that raised your estrogen. It made you more loving, made you more positive. For men, made it more dynamic, more energy. But after that goes away, what is it that raises his testosterone? And what is it that raises her estrogen? Nobody has done this study. We get close to it, so I quote the basic studies, which are, whenever a woman is stressed, her estrogen is too low. Whenever a man is stressed, his testosterone is too low. What are the things that raise estrogen? And also, whenever a man's angry, let's throw that one in there. What's going on in his body? His testosterone's going down, and his estrogen's going up. If a woman's testosterone goes down and her estrogen goes up, she's ready to make love. If a man's testosterone goes down and estrogen goes up, his masculinity is weak, and his emotions will be negative. Anytime a man has negative emotions, which we do, it's our estrogen is high and our testosterone is low. Whenever a woman has negative emotions, her estrogen is low and her testosterone is high. Now, sometimes those words are hard for people to sort of grip, so we'll call it female side, male side. If I'm too far on my female side, these are the symptoms. I'll be passive, I could be irritable, I could be selfish, I could be uncaring, and I could be angry. Fight or flight. Because anytime a man is in a stressed state, his estrogen is high, his testosterone is low. I'm not feeling confident. I'm not feeling successful. My wife's complaining to me. I'm a failure. She doesn't approve of me. She doesn't appreciate me. She doesn't trust me. I'm seen as a dangerous person to her. My testosterone goes down, my estrogen goes up, and I become a dangerous person to her. That's men. Testosterone goes down, estrogen goes up. For a woman, she's stressed, her testosterone's up, her estrogen's down. She doesn't feel safe, so her estrogen is down. Whenever you feel safe, estrogen starts to rise. So her estrogen is down, and when you're not feeling safe with it, what do you have to do? You have to draw your sword. That's your testosterone. You become masculine. When you don't feel on your feminine side, I don't feel safe, that I'm supported, that everything's okay, that I have to fix it, that I have to protect myself. Now you're becoming the man. You're going to your male side. So you can see this, the same examples, which are in many of my books. Now I have the hormones right behind it. This is all very biological. So when a woman is unhappy, always, stress hormones are being produced, her testosterone is up, her estrogen is down. What should she do? Well, it turns out that if she can talk about her negative feelings, if she can talk about what she's feeling, that's called complaining, or it's called therapy. Okay? But that's talking about your feelings makes you feel better. Because anytime, positive or negative, if you express your feelings, your estrogen goes up. Dancing and singing, your estrogen goes up. You're upset, express your feelings, estrogen goes up, your stress goes down. Because sharing your feelings, sharing your inner world increases estrogen. So now if a man is upset, he's stressed, his testosterone is low, and you get him to talk, what's going to happen if he talks? His estrogen will go higher and higher and higher. See, women want us to talk because you think, oh, talking solves everything. No, talking causes all violence in relationships. That's the essence of disaster of our culture. Men used to, nobody's asking men how they feel. Nobody talks to any ancient culture. You don't ask men how they feel. This is the stupidest thing ever, asking men if you're upset, tell me how you feel. I feel like killing you. He's gone crazy. But see, when men go crazy, when they're out of balance, they become unloving. They cannot feel love. They cannot feel love when their testosterone goes down. Women cannot feel logic or be logical when their estrogen levels go down. These are our vulnerabilities as human beings. Men lose the ability to feel the love. Women lose the ability to feel logical. Now let's take an example for women, what you know about yourself. Sometimes you're not logical, you get upset about something, and then later you're fine. It's temporary. That's what you don't know about men, is that when men become unloving, it's temporary. That's why you don't want to say anything, because what will come out of his mouth might sound not very loving. And you think, oh, he needs to do a therapy session. No, he just needs to not talk. If he doesn't talk, he can think. And when he can just think for a while about what just happened, or think about anything, he can think about baseball scores. He can think about the news. He can think about how the government is corrupt. All he has to do is think for a while. His testosterone will come back into balance. He has nothing to be upset about. Men can forget it. We can just let it go. We don't have to talk about it. We don't have to do anything about it. We don't need you to change even. But here's the problem. What are the 3 forms of love that a woman can give a man? This is the essence of everything in my teaching. The essence of, if you want a man to give you more, to love you more, he needs your love. He needs your love. And when you're loved, what is the love you feel for a man in the beginning of a relationship where you have no history of disasters? Trust. You start to trust. You take a risk. You're going to trust him. See, what is it every man wants? He wants a statue. I gotta get all my books. Best-selling book. John Gray. Immediately. Oh, other people trust him. You must trust him too. Well, what a high it is for me. Have people say, "Oh, read your book. Enjoyed it so much. Appreciate it." 3 things I'm getting there. Trust, acceptance, and appreciation. This is what women would do in the beginning. It's automatic because your estrogen is high. Estrogen going high means you're safe. When you feel safe and you know everything you want, women, is primarily security, safety. Because you're way more nervous than men are when it comes to fear. You're designed to be that way. You're designed to see everything that can go wrong. We're designed to figure out how to solve problems. Think about it in ancient culture. A woman is pregnant with a baby. She goes out in the jungle. They live in little huts. When I lived in the Amazon, you'd see this. She's out there at night. There's no fences. There's no police. There's wild animals. If she sees those glowing eyes in the dark, what's she going to do? She's got to go tell somebody. If she can go tell somebody, she can relax. Talking is the essence for women to feel safe. Not just talking, but talking and feeling heard. Because that's how you get help. You're designed. What women need today is to realize, what help do I need? And also, what help do I need to give to myself? And earlier today, you heard the wonderful talks of all the things we can do for ourselves, self-help. It's so important. Because if women are out there helping other people all day long, they need to be able to come back and do self-help on themselves. And that's very powerful. However, while that can lower your stress without a doubt, like the breathing exercises, the changing your diet, giving up the carbohydrates for a while, all these things, self-help can make you happy. Happy woman will not create romance and passion. Happier woman will. And you will become happier only if, to some extent, you use him to make you happy. That's relationship. If you're over here, you're just happy woman over there, and I'm happy man over here, which just happens to a lot of married couples, but they stop having romantic physical intimacy. Physical intimacy occurs when a woman feels, I can depend on him to help me. If there's no situation where him can help you, there's no connection between the two of you. Again, biological. When you say to a man, if you say to him, and I was pretty dramatic in the beginning just to have fun, but this is one of the techniques in the book. There's 3 major techniques in this book. Each book has a few major techniques, but this is the primary ones. The first one is when you're stressed and you're in a relationship, you have a man in your life. What is he good for? There's a whole chapter in this book. What can you get from a man and what you can't? What you can't get from a man is a girlfriend. And if you don't have enough girlfriends in your life, people like you with the same problems as you, you'll expect him to be your girlfriend and understand you. He can't give you the understanding a woman can give you. Because he's not you. He's a different being completely. He's thinking you're nuts. He's thinking you're overreacting, and in his world you are. And a woman goes, yeah, I know, I feel the same way. And you're looking a little crazy together. He can't do that. He cannot do that. You don't want that. Then you feel, he doesn't hear me. So what you can do with a man, one tool. We know that one of the major things that when women are on their male side, what can help them come back to their female side is getting help. Okay, they need help. So, darn, not much time. What help do women need today? I'll summarize it now. What's the help you need from a man today? You need a man's help to help you come back from your male side to your female side. All women, I want to find my softness. So how do you use them? We don't mind being used as long as we're rewarded. I wouldn't say, men, how do you use women? They all get mad at me. But no, men want to be used. We're tools for you. And we're happy to do that if you appreciate us, if you celebrate us, if you build statues to us, if you make us your hero. We'll do anything. So simple. But you have to How do you use a man now? You use a man to come back to your female side. One of the most powerful ways for a woman to come back to her female side, simply put, is to be vulnerable and not blame him. What does that mean? It's a lot to understand that for women. They don't understand vulnerability, but some do, some don't. If you were to share a secret with a girlfriend that you don't tell anybody else, you're vulnerable, right? You don't want anybody to see that part of you or to know that thing. So all day long when you're on your male side, what you have to know is your female side is having all these emotions. Now this is biological. According to research, under moderate stress, women have 3 times more blood flow going to the emotional part of the brain. But in the work world, you have to suppress it. When you come home, that suppressed emotion is going to keep your estrogen low, cause your stress to go up. So you come home from work, you make it a ritual. I call it Venus talk. You say to your husband, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here. When you have a chance, would you come out of your cave? I want to talk about my day." And he'll come out of his cave because you've asked for help. Either then or say, "I'll do it later." If you be smart, he'll say, "Yeah, I'll do it right away." So then you basically say, "I'm going to talk about my day and some of my feelings of the day for 10 minutes, no longer, and I'll feel better." Oh, that's a good reason to talk. I have no idea why that would make you feel better, but that's going to work for you. I'll try it out. So it's only 10 minutes, and you're going to talk about your feelings of the day. What happened that you didn't like, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you expected, what didn't happen, what your concerns, what your worries are. My book explains how to do a Venus talk, where you share what's inside that you wouldn't normally share with anybody else. That's what intimacy is. And when you share what you wouldn't share with anybody else, guess what you're feeling? Vulnerable. So it's like he can make fun of you. He can call you negative. He can say, "Oh, you're complaining too much." You can say anything else, but he won't because you've asked him. Don't say anything. No response required. FYI. For your information only. No response needed. He goes, "Oh, okay, I can relax." Guess what happens when a man doesn't feel like he has to solve a problem and you need help? They've done brain research on that. And the man's mirror neurons will open up. Mirror neurons allow a man to feel what you feel. If there's a problem and he has to solve it, they close. In fact, they close almost all the time. Only when a child asks for help or someone he loves asks for help do they open up. And then he can feel what you feel. But you have to tell him, don't solve anything, don't fix anything, and I'm not going to talk about anything that implies it's your fault. So, okay, I can do that for 10 minutes. And you'll discover, just like you do breathing exercises, you'll feel better. You will feel huge surges of estrogen because he heard you. And when a man can hear you for the first time, he actually just be present with you. See, men don't know what everybody's talking about, be present with a woman. She's talking about problems. All we're going to do is think about how to solve them. But you amp it up a little bit. It says, "I'm a little crazy today. I just need you to let me vent and hear what I'm saying. Only 10 minutes. You don't have to do anything, say anything, fix anything. It'll make you feel better." What man would not do that? Any man willing to do that for 10 minutes with your wife? You willing to do that? Willing to show? They don't believe you want to listen. You will listen? He says, "Of course." You do it? You say, "What? Of course. If I don't have to do anything and you're not going to blame me and you're going to share your problems, but I don't have to solve them, but you're going to feel better just talking about it," which I don't know why that would ever be the case, but now I know. Estrogen goes up, women's stress goes down. But you have to share your insecurities. You have to be transparent, naked emotionally. And guess what? You know the time when a man's mirror neurons open the most? They've measured this, is when you're naked. That's why men like naked women. Because a naked woman is totally vulnerable. It opens his mirror neurons and he can feel love. It's the only way men can fully feel love is a naked woman who is open to him. But if a woman gets naked, his mirror neurons are open, and she doesn't love him, he doesn't feel good later. This is why I'll finish with this one idea. It's all in this book. They've studied a new hormone for health and happiness and longevity. Any people who live longer, people who live the longest have this hormone. If you're single, you don't. Sorry, some of you might last long, but the people who live the longest, who are healthiest and are happiest, all have this particular hormone. It's called prolactin. Prolactin. It's what women produce when they're breastfeeding their babies, which if your nipples aren't hurting, it feels really good. It's an amazing drug. Prolactin only gets produced in monogamous relationships, marriage. Married couples are the only people on the planet who produce prolactin. Prolactin surges relaxation through your body. It gives you greater health. It gives you greater longevity, greater happiness. How do they know? Because they measure people who live long lives, who are happier. They have different degrees of prolactin. Married couples have 500% more prolactin than single people. And it happens after making love. It happens after when you make love in a monogamous relationship. Afterwards, they measure this magic hormone. But it has to be a committed relationship where a man is devoted to a woman, and a woman, of course, loves her husband. This is the power of love. We're talking about the HEALFest. This can be motivating for single people to learn how to get in relationships, for married couples to apply the skills so that you continue to have attraction. Everybody says, how do I lose the attraction? Well, we know the attraction goes away because the dopamine levels dropped, right? Well, because what did dopamine do? It raised a man's testosterone, it raises a woman's estrogen, and that's called polarity. Polarity is where the man is more masculine and the woman is more feminine. And when those hormones have that balance of opposites, there's attraction, just like the North Pole and the South Pole of a magnet. And here I'm at 74 years old with all the attraction of a young guy measured by my hormones, which are 50% higher than when I was a young man. The testosterone. Most men it goes down because they don't have the polarity in their marriage. And it's so easy to create it. The Venus talk does it. The 5-minute ask does it. Is another technique where every day you say you wave to your husband 5 fingers. That means you're going to ask him to do something you can do for yourself that takes less than 5 minutes. And his response, because you're playing a game to make your woman happy again, is you're going to say, happy to do it right away. Whatever you're doing, you jump and you do it. And men are happy to do this. If it's going to make you happy and it only takes 5 minutes a day, but men won't do that. It's the women who have a problem asking for it because they're afraid. Well, it's something I can do. You can say, no, I feel so embarrassed. No, that's the point. It's vulnerable. To be vulnerable and to ask for help without blaming a man, give him something he can do, and your estrogen levels go up, his testosterone levels go up. And the third thing, and I know I'm over time, I apologize for that. Get there right away. I'm going to sign the book soon. The third technique, you hear something called the feeling letter exercise. This is when you're upset with your partner. He's not going to do anything for you because you're blaming him. So you have to learn how to let go of your resentment inside. And it's a process called the feeling letter exercise, where you look right out your emotions in a particular structure, so you're not leaving anything out, and it will bring you right back to your soul, bring you right back to love and forgiveness. You have that power within you because you're women. You can do this. So he just has to show you how to do it. And because it takes a while, the book explains how to do it, and it also has an app to go along with it. The app is called the Mars Venus Heart Space app. It just uses AI, my protocol. Asks you 5 questions, and it'll tell you everything you're feeling. You'll get a $500 therapy session with me in 20 minutes. What I do with my women, I just tell them what they're feeling and they're happy. They don't know what's inside. Jung said the greatest aspect of all personal growth is to discover what you're not aware of. Just awareness, and it will take you deeper. So those are my 3 tools that are in this book. I hope you enjoy the book. I'm so happy to be here. I want to thank you for letting me be here. I think I forgive you for going over time.